Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Lore of Warcraft. It's Gleehan here, and we recently have started going over the Pandaria type of expansion history, and this one's called the Thunder King. If anyone's familiar with that expansion, you'll know that this is probably going to have to do with Pandaria as well. All right, this is 15,000 to 12,200 years before the Dark Portal, so this is spanning almost the next 3,000 years from when Pandaria was kind of established. As the Pandaren and other races prospered around the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, the mogu continued their endless squabbling. It was during this cycle of violence that a warrior named Lei Shen came to power. A descendant of a minor warlord, young Lei Shen was thoroughly accustomed to the brutality of clan warfare. Despite his skill and success in battle, he saw the incessant conflicts and political maneuvering as a betrayal of the mogu's potential. Nevertheless, he remained stalwart as a vassal for his father. A close advisor eventually betrayed and murdered Lei Shen's father. Almost all of the fallen warlord's clansmen sought refuge in the ranks of other clans, abandoning Lei Shen. Only a few loyal armsmen refused to leave his side. Rather than seek retribution and perpetuate the violence, Lei Shen chose to go into exile. He wandered the land, meditating on what he saw as the failures of his kind. Soon Lei Shen desired answers his intellect and reason could no longer provide. He set off in search of the mogu's long-absent master, Highkeeper Ra. In recent centuries, the Highkeeper had become known as Ra Den, meaning Master Ra in the new Mogu tongue. Few of Lei Shen's kind even believed he still lived. Why would their ancient creator have allowed them to suffer from the curse of flesh? Lei Shen believed Ra Den had a plan, a master purpose, and that the current trials of the Mogu were merely a test. Perhaps it was even the will of the Titans themselves. After all, Ra Den was their living instrument. After years of searching, Lei Shen located the entrance to the hidden vaults beneath the land north of the Vale, sacred chambers that the mogu had all but forgotten due to their ceaseless warring. There he found the Highkeeper, sitting quietly in the stillness beneath the earth. Ra Den showed no reaction to the young mogu's intrusion. The Highkeeper said nothing, even as Lei Shen began to ask him questions about the mogu's true purpose. Days and weeks passed, and Lei Shen grew frustrated with his master's silence. Finally, the mogu realized that Ra was not contemplating some subtle plan, was not engrossed in the work of the Titans. The Highkeeper had simply given up. The suffering of the mogu had been the result of an absentee master, and nothing more. Lei Shen unleashed his anger on Ra, accusing him of abandoning the Titans and their purpose. His harsh words roused the Highkeeper from his stupor. Ra took Lei Shen to the nearby thundering mountain, where unending storms roared and split the heavens. No mogu had dared scale its slopes before, for the mountain was believed to be a forbidden place. Inside a massive, ornate vault, Ra Den summoned the lingering power of Aman'Thul and showed Lei Shen the answers he wanted. The Titans of the Pantheon were dead, murdered by one of their own. Their final hope was the world of Azeroth itself, but it was already infested with creatures of the void. The Highkeeper had assumed that this knowledge would shatter Lei Shen's soul as it had his own, yet the mogu reacted in a way Ra Den never expected. Lei Shen decided that if his master had no interest in continuing the Titan's purpose, he would do it himself. Without warning, he struck out and incapacitated Ra Den. Lei Shen then bound the mighty being in enchanted iron bands. He stole not only Ra Den's incredible power, but also the contained power of Aman'Thul. Might beyond understanding flooded through Lei Shen's soul. He imprisoned Ra Den within the Thundering Mountain, ignoring the Highkeeper's rage and confusion at the betrayal. When Lei Shen descended the mountain and met with his remaining armsmen, they were in awe of him. Rumors of Lei Shen's newfound might spread among the mogu clans. Some believed he had worn out the heart of a god and eaten it, torn out the heart of a god and eaten it. A few claimed he had harnessed the ancient powers of the Vale itself. Still others whispered that he was a Titan reborn. Yet all of the stories had one fact in common. This Thunder King had demanded that all mogu bow before him. He claimed the birthright of the Titans, and he would destroy all those who refused to yield to his will. Thereafter, Lei Shen set out to unify the mogu and forge them a new destiny as the masters of Azeroth and the guardians of its world soul. The petty squabbling and warfare that had plagued their kind would no longer be tolerated. With lightning and thunder at his command, Lei Shen crushed all opposition. The fortunate ones were killed quickly. The unfortunate ones were kept in chains for centuries. Initially, most of the mogu rallied to him out of fear, but his miracles soon inspired devotion. The Thunder King had mastered the enchanted tools of the Keepers. One of these was the engine of Nalaksha, a powerful device that Lei Shen had discovered beneath the land north of the Vale. Using this extraordinary machine, the mogu began shaping flesh and stone into new living creatures. They even found a way to reverse the curse of flesh among themselves. Under Lei Shen, a period of prosperity and brutality gripped the Vale. For the Mogu, it was the beginning of a glorious new empire, yet for the region's other races, it marked the start of an age of tyranny. And we have the madness of Lei Shen. The decision to abandon any claim to his father's power had spared Lei Shen's life. When a leader's clan was killed, it was customary for rivals to immediately murder his family and thus exterminate the clan lineage forever. Lei Shen's meditations were seen as a sign of despair and madness. Most assumed he would never be a threat to any Mogu ever again. But, as we see here, instead we have the birth of the Thunder King, one of the main, if not the main, kind of raid boss in the Mists of Pandaria expansion. You find out what happened to High Keeper Ra, and now, from being absentee, he is now imprisoned. And you have basically how the Mogu are the way they are, kind of stone-like. They've reversed the curse of flesh. They're all united as one evil, brutal race. And they're set at odds against the other races of Pandaria. So just a little bit of fleshing out of some more of this Mists of Pandaria expansion lore. And we get a 3,000-year time period as it takes us through it. So we're inching our way closer to the Dark Portal opening. All right, everybody. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks. Bye-bye.